How's it going, everyone? I'm Sir James, coming at you guys with another lightsaber video. And in today's video, I'm here to focus on the updated Shin Hati Lightsaber done by TXQ. As you guys know, in last week's video, we took a look at the updated version of the Baylan Skoll done by the same company as well. And well, since they did an update to Shin's lightsaber, I figured we might as well take a look together to see if this one got a nice overhaul as the Baylan one, or is it just a few subtle changes and maybe not worth it. But before we tap into that, just wanted to say that this video was made possible courtesy of NSabers. And as you guys know, with Star Wars events such as May 4th coming up, they're actually doing a pretty good deal right now, which they just recently informed me about, and that is starting between now and until the end of May, you can save up to 15% on your purchase. It doesn't even have to be towards this saber, it could be towards anything that they tend to offer on their website, which means by using my discount code, not only do you save some money, but I also make some money, and it goes towards supporting this channel and of course giving me the more opportunities to have more reviews such as this here to share with you guys. Until then, let's go ahead and take a closer look and to see if you guys can spot any of the differences between version 1 and version 2. And don't worry, I will be pointing out those differences in this review. So starting off, let's see if you can notice any of those changes. I will say this one is a bit tricky. Now, if you're already able to figure out what those changes are from version 1 to version 2, let me know in the comments down below, and please don't cheat. So, what exactly has changed from version 1 to now the new version 2.0? Well, let's go ahead and start with the colorization of the hilt. In version 1, the actual body of the saber was a little bit more on the brighter side, while in version 2.0, it's actually got a little bit more of a darker tone, more of a darker metal, which definitely looks a lot better. You know, it's not as shiny, which is great, and I feel like if you had a bit of a weather job on this, it's going to look even better. Of course, you guys know me, I like my lightsabers to be weathered up, and eventually down the road, I'm hoping to do the same treatment for this. The other thing that's also been changed is the weight of the saber. Now, it's not quite as heavy as the updated version for the Baylan Skoll one, but there is still some nice added weight entirely. In version 1 of the hilt, it was definitely on the lighter side of things, while here, the weight I would say is nearly double than what it used to be, which is good, and it feels great, and it's still as comfortable as it was in version 1. The other thing that was also changed in version 2 is towards the fin section of the hilt, and that's actually in regards to these little pieces here. And as you can see on version 2, these are done in black, while in V1 they were done in silver. And the black one actually matches more of the screen used prop version of the hilt, which is great. I don't remember if they made any changes to the actual handle itself. It still feels the same as it did in version 1, and I didn't have any complaints, so I think that's still fine. However, the other nice big noticeable change is actually going to be in regards to the buttons. This is still a 2-button setup, which by the way, I'm reviewing the Profi variation of this hilt. So one button there, and the other button is located right here. Now in version 1, the buttons didn't look like this. They were more of like round little nubs that kind of stuck out between both sides, but this one here matches more of the screen used prop version a lot better. The other nice change too is actually in regards to the handguard here. Now in version 1, this was a lot thinner, and it didn't really have any design. It lacked pretty much anything on it, while in version 2, the handguard is thicker. And as you can see from the overhead here, there's actually a design pattern added to it, which makes it a heck of a lot better than it did. The other neat change too is actually in regards to the emitter section. So in version 1, on the inner portions of this, you had more of the silver coating there, while here the black detail actually goes all the way down in there, which is great. So which means that makes all the stuff inside a lot more hidden than it did in V1. But the other nice thing too is the retention screws are now down to a single screw, because in V1 you had retention screws went from like lower sections to upper sections, and it was quite noticeable in version 1. But here, because it's down to one retention screw, it makes the emitter a lot more cleaner looking, and it's definitely a big improvement. However, the other major change too is the blade. Now in version 1, you were using the 1-inch blade size, the same as the Baylan Skoll, while here with version 2.0, this doesn't use the 1-inch blade. Instead, this actually now uses the 7/8 blade, which is great, and honestly it looks a lot better with the 7/8 blade in my personal opinion. So it's definitely a nice touch entirely. Now that brings us on to the negative. In version 1, there was one thing I didn't like, and that was actually in regards to the Saber's D-ring. But the question here is, does the new 2.0 fix the issue that I had with version 1? And unfortunately, that is not the case. So let me go ahead and explain a bit better. So here is the D-ring on the Saber. Now for the most part, it looks like any normal D-ring, right? It should function as it should. Unfortunately, this is one of those types of sabers that the D-ring, unfortunately, it's not something that I would want to wear at my side. And the reason why is because the D-ring and the attachment points are very shallow. So what I mean by this, and I don't know how well you guys could see this. So right now it is attached as it should be, right? Now watch this. Notice how I took little to no effort to disconnect it from that point, which means that if you're wearing this on your belt and it becomes unattached like that, which would take literally no time at all, now you're going to have this metal piece that's going to be constantly scuffing and scratching the side of the bottom portion of your hilts, and that is a big issue. Now obviously, for those of you who tend to have your lightsabers on display and never wear it around their belt, obviously this is not an issue for you. This is more for those who tend to go cosplaying, or for people like me who likes to bring their custom lightsabers with me when I go to like the Disney parks or something. I like to wear my sabers around, catches a lot of attention. People have questions. It's always a fun time to be able to do nice show and tell with the different people out there. So yeah, that's my big issue. And the best way I could showcase this is I have another D-ring right here, which is one that I removed off another lightsaber. Now, as you can see with this D-ring, a little bit hard to tell, but the main thing here is that on the shin hilt here, you have very little of this material left, which means that it's not going to be very secured. Now, if this entire D-ring that I have right here was connected to this hilt, it would be a lot more secured better. In fact, let me show you how that would look. So just providing an overhead view, you can see how much of that material sticks into the hilt, which means that adding something like this after you drill out the remainder of those holes would be a lot better. In fact, if you do end up getting this hilt, you could do a modification to fix that. I would say the hardest part would be adding the new D-ring onto the hilt. That's pretty much about it. But for the most part, you just have to remove this, taking a drill and a drill bit to drill out the rest of those holes, and then you're going to go ahead and pretty much attach the new D-ring, which will be the hardest part. But if you know how to do it just fine, then you are good to go. So other than that, that's really my only main negative that I have with it, is that unfortunately the D-ring situation from V1 was not changed in V2, which is a little bit disappointing. Now, if you need to get access to the internals, all you're going to need to do is to go ahead and disconnect this lower section right here, just like this. And once you do that, you're going to go ahead and get access to your chassis, which is 100% removable. And of course, the nice thing here is that it's got a built-in USB-C charging port there and the removable battery option. Like I said, mine is the Profi version of the hilt, which means by default, do keep in mind that if you've never purchased anything from NSabers, you pretty much get the whole package deal. You get the hilt, you get the blade, you get a nice box that everything comes in, display stand, charging cable, all the stuff that you need to operate it, charge it, play with it, display it, all that fun stuff, all in one sweet deal. Now also too, this does include over 20 lightsaber fonts, which is pretty great, and also gesture controls. However, for the purposes of this review, and where did I do with that screw there? Oh, there it is. And for the purposes of this review, I did remove the default font package that this was included with to go ahead and toss in the Saber font package done by Kyberphonic, which is in relations to all the Saber fonts from the Ahsoka show onto the hilt to make it a little bit more proper and to go with the theme of the particular lightsaber. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go to font number 1, which if I'd done so should be...
Master, we received word. They've located the Jedi Starship.
Perfect, just like that. Now, the other thing that I also did too is that unlike the Baylan Skoll one, there's only a couple of changes here. On some of the Saber fonts, I did change the font tone, so when you get to the font, it might say a different quote than what you heard last time. I think only a few are still the same. And also too, I don't have Jester twist on, I just have the twist off Jester, which means that for my activations and deactivations, I will have to press the button. So let's go ahead and start with going over Shin Hati's Saber font done by Kyberphonic. Just like that. And like I said, her lightsaber is very comfortable. And honestly, I don't know what to make of the character, to be quite honest. I just don't have much information on her, just besides what we've seen in the show. Of anything, I would probably like some kind of backstory involving this particular character, whether it's an animated series or comic. And maybe something like that is already available and I'm just oblivious to it. I'm sure you guys will inform me. But if there's anything that I do like about her character is I do like her lightsaber. She's got a great taste, and assuming that she's the one that built this, then yeah, fantastic job on her part in my opinion. Let's go ahead and go to the next one over. And this one's going to be for Morok. Now, I have great news is that I am finally getting his lightsaber. So if you guys are patient enough, hopefully by next week or the week after, I will have the Morok saber review, which I'm super pumped to check out. But I forgot I don't have twist on. I keep twisting it. But I do like his saber font.
Finish your training.
Light side, Anakin. And see, I wasn't sure if there's any quotes on it. Some of them have quotes, some of them don't. Then dark side, Anakin.
I gave you a choice: live or die.
Let's see, this one, or nope. Oh yeah, I just enabled battle mode. I always forget that Profi has a thing called battle mode, where if you hold the aux button and then let go, it gets to the point where every time you move the saber, it activates the blade effect. So it gets to the point where if you're just trying to do the, you know, blaster deflect. Let's see. There you go. And by holding it, letting go, it will go back to normal. So that's always fun to do.
Come on, Snips.
And this one is for Ahsoka, early Clone Wars. And then Ahsoka, later Clone Wars.
Ahsoka.
Next up.
The blade of Towson.
That's the fun one there. Let's see this one. Let's see. Nope. I'm trying to remember how to do the, I'm used to doing it with the one button setup, and I don't remember how to do it. There's a thing that you do in the Night Sisters go through the little curse chant, and then the blade is a cool effect. I have to remember how to do that at a later time. Going back to, well, the next one should be,
Directory not found.
that one will be the battery indicator, which so far we're good.
Ahsoka Tano.
And now, Ahsoka. Now, as far as the hand guard goes up here, how does it feel having my hand up here? And as I swing the saber, it feels great. Obviously, there's no any form of sharp edges or anything like that to kind of point out. There might be something down here. No, actually not really. I thought there was a little bit of a sharp point, but there's not really anything on the saber that I feel like you have to worry about cutting your hand on, which is good. Everything seems to be like it's smoothed down quite nicely. But then we have Hewing.
Do you know Ezra Bridger? He's my friend.
Yes, I get that. I was on the wrong character. I always get them mixed up. Obviously, Sabine. This one's also like a very nice. And then we go to Ezra. Nope, never mind. Hewing, and then Ezra. That's the like the training one. Oh boy, that is epic. Not really my favorite as far as saber fonts go, but you know, it's there, and it's yellow, so there's a positive. Let's see. And then.
I knew I could count on you.
Like I said, the handle on this is great. It's nice and rounded, and it's you probably swing this for hours, to be honest, and not get tired of it.
Baylan Skoll.
And back to Baylan Skoll. So you just keep going and going and going and going. I know it's dragging on. Let's go ahead and turn the light back on here. So yeah, as far as the saber goes, are there enough changes in version 2.0 to justify maybe replacing your 1.0 version if you already have the first variation of it, or just worth getting entirely? Like I said, I do like the saber overall. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't fix the D-ring issue that was present there in version 1, and so for me to fix that, I'm going to have to attach a separate D-ring, drill out the rest of those holes, which the drilling part, simple enough. It's just, again, the difficult part will be attaching that new D-ring onto the hilt, but I'm sure I'll get it figured out in no time. But that's really my only negative entirely, so just wanted to make sure that I point that out, because as you guys know, anytime I do these videos, I like to be upfront and honest with each and every one of you. So if there's a negative, I will point out the negative, but if there's positives, I always point out those too. And like I said, again, fantastic saber. I think Shin as a character has a good taste as far as a lightsaber being built, assuming that she's the one that did indeed build this lightsaber. And I do like the major changes to the blade as well, being 7/8 and much cleaner looking in the emitter, and everything else that was added to try to replicate, or you know, a little bit more matching of the screen used prop version for any saber. I think you know, for the fans out there, definitely worth adding to your collection, assuming if you're collecting the sabers from the Ahsoka series. Until then, let me know what you guys think, and like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video upload. And always remember, may the Force be with you. Of it was quite light, and of course, speaking of light, that one goes down. That catches your eye for further you press the button like so. And uh-oh. Did I do something wrong here? Okay, I see what happened here. Okay, so I made a big mistake. Yeah, I'm tempted to either go and fix this or just leave it as is. But you know what? I think it'd be fun. I'm just gonna keep it as is. This just has to show that if you don't make sure that all your stuff is correct,